The holiday season is in full swing, and many are getting ready to celebrate with their family and friends. But for those in recovery, these celebrations sometimes come with additional challenges of staying sober. Well, I sat down with a local addiction experts to share some tips about maintaining sobriety while also enjoying the holidays.
Holidays really are a hard time for someone who is in recovery because oftentimes their families are not in recovery. Maybe their families still drink or they may even use drugs, but they want to be with their family because they feel connected.
These experts say that the rate of relapse is definitely higher during the holidays.
We see a lot of people that will come in at the new year having really caused a lot of harm for themselves over the holidays. Of just continuing that substance use and not reaching out.
Nathan Isaacs, who just celebrated his 16 months of recovery in November, says it's important to make a plan.
My recovery is my responsibility. It's not anybody else's responsibility. So if I go somewhere, I take my own vehicle, I make sure it's not blocked in, I have an easy exit strategy. A good rule of thumb is when grandma leaves, it's time to leave, you know, because that's usually when the kind of party and stuff like that goes down.
And if there's too much temptation, it's good to have other options.
Some of the local AA groups typically will have, functions on those big holidays where they actually prepare meals for people.
Having lots of phone numbers and being willing to call someone and say, hey, I'm in an environment where I'm feeling really nervous here and I'm not feeling very strong. Can you help me through it?
If I'm uncomfortable in a situation, regardless of what my friends and family think, I will remove myself from that situation because if I go back down that path, I won't have them anyways.
Fuller says sometimes family members may not understand your recovery.
Sometimes they will pressure them into going back into their old family role of the family drunk, so to speak. And so just be respectful of their choices and allow them to say no without any pressure.
So for me, I'm an addict and I'm an alcoholic. I will go crazy trying to explain that to my family who don't get the disease concept and don't understand why I just can't have a drink. I need to know that. I don't need to explain to them. They don't need to know it. I need to know my truth.
Dr. Terry Beck, the medical director at both Turning Point and Springboard, wants to continue to break the stigma.
I want people to understand that addiction is a disease. And as it being a disease, it's not about someone who has weak morals or is a weak-willed person. Most alcoholics and addicts that I know are actually very stubborn and hard-headed. And that's one of the reasons they struggle with their addiction. They think they can fix themselves.
And we've got to break that stigma that people are not bad, they're just sick. And there are treatments available.
And if you or a family member are struggling with addiction, please reach out for help. You can check out our website, yourbasin.com, for resources and extended conversation with our addiction experts as well. We'll also have an inside look into what rehab is like. And please tune in tomorrow as Nathan Isaacs shares his story of recovery and his journey to help others find the help they deserve.